Hello and welcome to another lesson on the ARK Dev Kit. Today I'm going to teach you on how to implement foliage into your map. So to start off, you're gonna have to search for certain meshes within the folders of the game. You can do that in two ways. You can either search through the folders with general terms such as tree or bush, rock, whatever. Or you can, if you know the specific name of a certain object, you can type it here, such as static mesh, big palm. Ooh, that's actually wrong. I'm gonna go for big palm, and I think it should pop up. Here we go, big palm underscore static mesh. Alright, now to actually implement it, you're gonna go over towards your modes tab, and you're gonna hit foliage. You will see it says drag static meshes from the content browser into this area. So once I do that, you'll see a lot of settings pop up. Don't worry too much about it. You're going to first go back to your content browser, look for the foliage settings of the object that you want to add, click on it, and then here on the next to the not using shared settings, click on the green icon that says to or that uses the instance foliage settings. So once we hit that, you will see some stuff changing. The only thing that does not change are the instance settings. You're going to have to change those yourself. But we do not know the settings that we need. So how you check that? Right click the foliage settings in your content browser and hit details, and now you will see all the settings pop up. So we scroll down, and now we're just going to change these values. I'm gonna hit replicate this component. We're gonna make this a tree harvest impact emitter. Then the attached component class will be wood harvest component extra wood. Then we need a tree falling blueprint. Of course, it's a falling tree, and now we're going to need two override destruction materials. These will basically, or the tree will basically take these materials as soon as it's breaking down instead of having the standard ones. And most of the times it's two elements. You want to get the trunk first and then the leaves. So we're going to search for the same palm that we have here. So it's going to be big palm underscore trunk. And then you want to have the instant material instance. So next we're going to look for the leaves, which is the atlas in this case. Then we're going to scroll down, and we see that the low and cull distance, that's basically how far your trees are going to be rendered in the game. It's 150,000 on this one, on this tree. Made a quick small typo there. And last, or we're going to check the collision. No collision is, for example, for bushes, and then you have block all, which is used for rocks, and trees most of the times use block all except inverse kinematics. Also, normally this doesn't show up, but at the rendering it says click arrow to display advanced properties. Open that up because it will say receive, or it will ask you if it receives decals. You want to enable that in most situations. What that does is if you would hit it with a rock or with a pickaxe or an axe, that it would display the impact texture on it. So if you're hitting a tree, you always see some cool colors pop or some cool texture popping up. That is a decal. So if you do not have that enabled, it will not be shown on your trees, which is not the intention, obviously. So now we have all these settings copied and pasted. We can click on the hide details here, so it's not a completely long list of settings, and we can actually start painting. Now here we have, of course, our brush size, kind of speaks for itself, and the paint density. The higher the density, the more trees or objects will appear within your area. So now with a high density, you can see quite a few trees are popping up. But if I crank that density down, then you can see only a few trees actually appear in the area of where I'm painting. So that's what that does. Now, and you can also add stones and bushes. They basically work with the exact same concept. I'll quickly, or what also is pretty important to know. If you are removing objects, you just hold Shift and you hover over them, and they will instantly remove. But if you do not have your current object selected here, if you have it disabled, it will not remove any of those. That way you can selectively remove certain objects if you have, for example, mixed them within these palms. But don't instantly freak out if you do not see your palm or other instant object not delete itself, just make sure it's ticked so you can actually start deleting them. If it then still does not delete, I would suggest hitting the Find Ground button, click on Yes when it asks to rebase all the foliage. Once you've done that, 9 out of 10 times it will work. It will work again, and you can just remove all the foliage you needed. That was all for this lesson. I hope you learned something, and if you have any questions you can post them in the comment sections and I will try to answer them as soon as possible.